Alright, I want to go ahead and show you how to make Boken lights in your edits. So as you can see in this photo, I have taken a free edge, a free frame, snow frame. I pulled snowflakes out of it and made little hanging snowflakes, and then I added a little snowy edge. You can see some of the Boken snowflakes and just a splatter on the edge. So let me show you how to do that. We're gonna open, let's use this adorable little photo. I'm gonna open that up in Photoshop. This is my second daughter, Eliza. She is almost 1.5 years old. And she was being my cute little model for these winter mini session photos. Okay, we've opened it up in Photoshop. I'm gonna fix the framing just a little bit so that we're a little closer in on her. And the wonderful thing about Photoshop is if you go over the edge to fix an angle or something, you just come over here where lasso tool is, do polygonal lasso tool, highlight a little farther over the section, right click, fill, and it needs to be content aware, normal opacity 100. You say okay. And then click again and it clears up, and there you go, filled corner. Okay, I like that framing a lot better. We are going to start off with a vignette. I have another video where I show you how to make several actions, including a vignette. So we are going to start by copying the layer, using the rectangular marquee tool to draw a dotted border. Then I'm going to select my vignette action, push play. Adding a Gaussian blur and some feathering, etc. And then instead of multiply, which makes it darker, I'm going to go to screen, which adds that snowy effect. And I'm going to do it about 50% opacity, so it's just a soft snowy. Actually, I'm going to do it more like 65, so you have a soft, frosty, snowy effect. Okay, then on our background, we're going to come over here and add a random layer. I'm going to pull it to the top. And here's how you add snow. First off, you come to your brush tool. And I want to make sure it is white, because we don't want yellow snow. We all know how bad yellow snow is. Then I have found some fun brushes. You can do just Boken snow with your general brushes, but I've gone through and through Adobe and other things found some fun brushes to work with. And one of them is these special effects brushes by Kyle, I can't remember his last name. But I use a spatter brush, and it came with a bunch of, what are they called? Let's see what the type is. You might be able to find this just right in your basic set of brushes that's with Photoshop already, or you can go into Adobe and just download some of their free brushes, see what you can find, or just search online for free brushes. And this was with some wet media brushes, special effects brushes, so splatter. And then I'm going to take the opacity down to probably around 50. Let's see how that looks. You can't see it because it's too small. I'm going to go upwards around 300. There we go. See how that just adds that fun little splatter effect? So we can just add a bunch, and then you can take an eraser to go in and get rid of it. We can do a ton or a little. We're going to just make it look like it's snowing. So I'm going to add a good amount. I'm going to erase it off of my daughter's face though. There, now it looks like it's snowing in the background, just really basic splattering snow. Then we're going to add another layer, because I don't want to do double layers. You want to be able to affect things individually. We're going to go back to our general brushes, and we're going to make it smaller, Oh, I can't do that. Let's do 100. Yeah, that works well. Let's do opacity of about 40, and we're going to do hardness of about 50. So this will give us some clearer dots that look like they're closer to the camera. So I still keep the hardness to about 50 so that it looks like it's out of focus. And if you're doing this with like orange, if you have some twinkle lights in there that you want to make look prettier, you can do this with yellow and orange and white mixed together in the whole stream. I'll show a picture in a little bit of where I did that. And then you pick several different sizes, several different opacities, and several different things, and you go clicking away at random until you have the look that you want. I'm going to do some less hard but stronger opacity, and that gives you some really soft little snowflakes. I'm going to turn off the back layer just so you can really see what's going on here. So we're just adding some little snowflakes. I like to overlap them every once in a while, because that really adds a lot to it. Let's do some slightly larger ones again with bigger hardness but different opacity. So we're going to get some softer ones in there. And you literally do this as little or as much as you want to get the look that you're looking for. And like I said, overlayering things works really well. I'm going to soften this layer so that our snow in the background is less noticeable and is kind of more like falling snow. If you want some that are moving faster, for like if you're doing snow, you want to just set your hardness or whatever that you're going to do, and then you're just going to drag it a little bit. Usually you want something with less hardness when you're doing this because it actually looks like things are moving. And I'm going to do smaller. See, I told you, you just got to play with it until you get something you like. And see, you just add a little drag and it looks like things are moving. So, simple, really simple snowfall. I'm going to open my winter snowflakes. And this was pretty simple that I made. I found an overlay, a snowflake overlay that was for free. And then I adjusted it to my needs. So let's see if I can find the original. So I put a black border on, and this isn't the full original, this is cropped in a little bit, but I've since adjusted it. So this was kind of the original with a little bit more snow and snowflakes. I went through and picked some of my favorites, cropped them out, and then pieced them together again. And so you get the hanging snowflakes. And use the line tool. Then I have my Boken snow, plus the splattering together. So this is what I originally made to go on these photos. If we want to just add our hanging snowflakes, I'm just going to copy and add, paste, and then we're going to click the select tool and drag them where we want them. And then we have hanging snowflakes. Isn't that fun? And the fun thing about those is if you have a photo that's a little closer up on her and you want these to look like they're out of focus, you select on the layer, you go up here to blur, and then usually, let's see, what did I do? One that I really liked was a field blur. So it selected on the thing that you wanted in focus, and then it was really easy to drag the amount of blur. And you can use almost any blur tool for this. So if it's a close up on the baby and you want just a couple of like the tips of the snowflakes behind them looking like they're out of focus, you just throw a blur on it. Okay, so there's that. It's that's how to add some Boken. Let me show you some of the other photos that I worked on that I did this with. These are all both my daughters, so I don't need extra permissions because they're my kids. So here you can see I added a little bit of blur to the snowflakes. It's hard to get them to look, I haven't learned how to change the perspective of them, so that's something that I plan to work on in the future. See that again. There's the finished one of that one. Again, they're blurred because her face needs to be in the foreground. That one she's a little farther back, so I didn't blur them nearly as much. Just playing around with having fun with these things. Okay, then I went in here, and this is where I did some light Boken. So I did some of the splatter to make it look magical. And then this is all just Boken lights, where I did yellow, combination of yellow and white and off-white paintbrushes. I'm going to show you the difference between those. So this is with, and this is without. Without. So it just adds that little magical flavor. So if you're trying to do some Christmas shots, you could do that. Here's one of my daughter. This is the set that we're doing here with these Christmas ones. I added some light Boken here. Kind of like falling snow, but more like lights. Again there. This one, it's nice because it's around the trees that have little lights in them. Same with that one, it's just Bokens around the trees. And I want to show off this too. These are not real light strings. I made these completely on Photoshop. We just have the photography subscription for Adobe, so I don't have InDesign, but in Photoshop I was able to make these strings of lights. And they do look a little cartoonish, but for being one of my first times designing something in Photoshop, I'm pretty proud of myself. But it just adds a little extra flavor if you look at this compared to being without. Adds just that flair, and that fills in the empty space. You can throw in real strings of lights too, but I was being lazy. But then I spent an hour or two designing lights strings in Photoshop, so I don't know how lazy I really am being. So those are fun ones. Just some holiday board pictures of my daughter being crazy. Happy holidays, good luck editing. I don't know how often I will do editing videos, but I figured I've been doing a lot of creative stuff recently and I wanted to just show some of that. Have a good end to your 2020 year.